Greetings, welcome back to PinkOddBird. Today I'm here to share these two beautiful little shabby chic journals with you, so let's go ahead and get started. Not terribly long ago, you guys might remember that I made some really pretty journals and I put them in some like quilted pouches that I fashioned. Well, I have two more here that I've made, and these are kind of like shabby chic, like I mentioned. And the pouches were made out of an upcycled pillowcase, and so I don't really know much about pillowcases or how they're made, but I do know that it was kind of like curved in some fashion. So when I cut it in half, it didn't cut, it cut perfectly straight, but it's curved, so the pouches match that, because I mean I could have probably cut the seam and all to make it a little bit more, but I didn't want to do a whole bunch of cutting to where all of the other seams were already in place, so it just has the one cut that I made, and then I just stitched that back together. So I'm calling them imperfectly perfect pouches, and so I think they're really pretty. I love the fabrics that were used on this like quilt piece. I added the applique here, and I added these vintage beaded little lace trims here as well, so those are on both of the covers. The fabrics do differ a little bit in the backgrounds, and I've just used seam binding as a closure. So I'm going to set one aside, and then we will go ahead and flip through. The books themselves are mostly similar on the innards, but the covers are different. I did one in kind of a more lacy, shabby chic style, and one in more of like a pinkish shabby chic. So let's see which one this one is. Okay, so this is the pink kind of like shabby chic theme. So let's look at this one first. I think the pouches are super great because it really makes them really portable. So if you want to take them on the go with you, they're already contained in their own little pouch. So I think that's so fun and cute. They are soft covers. They do have a little bit of a spine that does have some structure to it, but it's not like terribly prohibitive. They are very like squishy, and I love the way they feel in the hand. So great. So I've just used some really pretty fabric that I have here, and then I kind of lined some different laces and stuff around the spine and the back of the book. I'm just going to take off the closure. It's a really pretty, super soft ribbon. It's not satin, it's something else, but it's super soft. So this is how the front cover looks, a little pretty blue flower here, and then to carry the blue over, I used a little bit of blue stitching for adding this lace onto the actual cover. So really pretty. There are a couple of charms. I didn't want to overdo it with the charms because like I said, this is meant to be something that you can take on the go with you if you're traveling somewhere. So I didn't want to have like bulky covers and bulky this and that, and I think the squishiness of it really will help that out. So let's go ahead and take a look on the inside. So on the front cover, I have some heavier pieces of like paper, kind of like drawing paper. So if you wanted to do some like sketches, you could use these papers. Really great for that because they're like a heavy duty paper. And then I've just got some lace and fabrics on the inside cover, and I just used some of that scrapbook paper that I've used throughout the book for the pocket. So I did make a lot of journaling cards and stuff like that, so on pages like this you'd still be able to enjoy the really nice paper, but you'd also have like writing space that compensates for that. So I definitely did want to be aware of that, and also to not make the book really bumpy or bulky for that reason. There are two signatures in this book, both of these books actually. This is some vintage, I believe this is needlework paper. I did some stenciling. These pastel papers are really lightweight, which nothing's really wrong with that. I would typically leave those in there by themselves just alone, but since the book is meant to be written in, I wanted to back those lighter weight papers with some coffee stain paper just to give them a little bit more durability. So that's what I did, and I just, again, keeping with the shabbiness, like some of the pages and edges are torn, and that's all on purpose. Some little fabric swatches. There are little streaks of gesso here and there, if you can see that. This is a vintage card, and each of the books has one of these, and they're all to Terry and from Dad, so I think that's really sweet. But also I believe on this one you can flip it open, and then you have actually a whole bunch more writing space there. Also, I didn't want to overdo it with like the lace and stuff on the edges for that same portability reason. So this is one of these little things like I made way back in the day when I did my first space book a few years ago. So just some more writing space. This is some avocado stained paper, and it turned out really pretty. I believe Shelby sent me that. There's some washi, another journaling card there, another little writing space here, and then this is some of the scrapbook paper that I used, and I just left it plain on the back for some writing space. So I did do some of my dyed papers like I like to do in just different style books, but I think it was really really kind of fitting for this because it ties in with the shabbiness. Each of them are going to have one of these really pretty collaged lacy bookmarks. The backs are plain, so you can also do like an introduction for the book if you want to, but yeah, you can just float this around in the book as your bookmark. But I think they're so pretty. I just used a different variety of laces and vintage music paper. There's some stamping, a little bit of lace here. All of the ephemera pieces are kind of plain so that you have as much writing space as possible. There's a few pages here. And because it's not so bulky, it does lay really nice and flat, so it's perfect for writing. Little stamped and stitched tag. Envelope here, you can add some things to. Some little ephemera bits in there. So in the second signature, they each will have one of these letters. And if I remember correctly, these letters are being written from her daughter. And like this one is really neat. It comes on this pretty, like, the paper is super thin paper. I don't really know what kind it is, but the letter was written in 1963. But it's a really lightweight, almost tissue-like paper, but not quite like the old paper, the white tissue paper that they used to write on. It's like that, but not exactly like that. But those were fun to read. But yeah, you can also journal on the back of the envelope if you want to. So obviously I wanted to keep it with the floral elements in here as well, so I've included some of these book pages here with the flowers on them for inspiration, like if you want to do some drawing or sketching of floral items, paintings, things like that. Some really pretty dyeing. This is decoupage napkin. And this is a little library card. I think this is Children's Garden of Verses book page. Some pretty paper that Zena sent me, and it's just coffee stained paper, but she embossed it, so I love it. And it looks so pretty tucked behind here. In the back, there's a couple more of these little writing or sketching papers. There's my stamp, and that is it. So that's this first one. I will flip through the second one a little bit more quickly because, like I said, they're pretty similar. So just so that you're able to see it though, I will just do a quick flip through in a minute. So here's the second one. I really love this trim. It's so pretty. Just one little piece adds pretty much everything you need, I think. So this is the second book. And like I said, this one is a little bit more like neutrals, kind of lacy look and feel. There's this pretty, kind of like an organza sort of ribbon. As a closure, it's a wired ribbon. And then this is what the cover looks like. And it's another fabric cover, and this is how the back looks. I really love these like vines. I really wanted those to showcase, and I wanted the ones on the front to show, but can't have everything. So okay, so the inside cover is also fabric, and then there's some more of these little drawing papers. There's your letter. This is vintage ledger paper. Vintage gardening book page. I think they all have the same elements. They might be in different orders or different places. And I do that because of how I feel like it fits better in the book. So that's why I might move some things here and there, because while they're mostly the same, sometimes I move papers around or what have you. So here is the bookmark for this one. Some more ephemera. These pretty doily papers come from RayMercantile, and I love these, and I really like saved these, but they were so perfect for these like Shabby Chic books, so I had to add them in. Fabric swatches. This is an envelope that I just collaged on. It was coffee stained, and I just did decoupaging and some other stuff. I did some light stamping on the background, so it's just more storage space. I don't do Shabby Chic very often, but it is a very pretty style. I don't know why I don't do it more. It is a little bit of a challenge for me, it feels like, but I guess we all have our wheelhouses, right? But I definitely enjoyed making these. I definitely will say that. So here's your book page on this one. Oh, yeah, there you go. Go. So you can see how I try to tie it in with more of the neutral stuff on this book because, you know, that's the vibe. Some writing little notepads here. Some more ephemera. There's a little circle wheel thingy. Index card and a big collage tag here with some lace at the bottom. Stamped and stitched. And this one I just left floating in here, just kind of tucked it in, but the camera doesn't pick up how really intense the doily print is, but that's okay. And the little library card is back there. So pretty. And some little ephemera in here. Vintage gardening book page. And then there's the sketching papers. There's my stamp. So that is this one. So these are the two, and I hope you all really like these. Which one is your favorite? It's hard to pick a favorite sometimes. I think they're really pretty, and they both kind of represent Shabby Chic, like in their own respects, if you will. So leave a comment down below and let me know which one your favorite was, the pinky one or the vintagey one. And I definitely appreciate you guys all for spending a little bit of time here with me today. I appreciate all of your comments as well. And oh, these will be in my Etsy store, so if you are interested, you can check the description box below for the availability of either one of these. I'll probably label them something like vintage and pink. Shabby, something like that. So check the description box below and they will be there until they're not. So we'll be back soon. I have another What's in the Box video coming up for you guys, and I'm really excited for that as well. I'm really enjoying that series. So if you haven't checked it out, come and join us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of your hair. So that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Be sure to stay tuned because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.